Please don't go.
Why not?
I need to talk to you about something.
You already thanked me the other day for going up against my brother.
I need to talk to you about something else. You know how I feel about your family.
We're gonna go there with each other.
Wait, let me get this out. Because if I don't tell you now, I don't know if I ever will.
Of course I know how you feel about my family. It's not like you've kept it a secret. You hate each and every one of us.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you here. I may have been wrong about your family and then about you. Thanks for waiting.
I couldn't very well leave until I made sure I heard you right.
You did.
So are you saying you might be wrong about hating my family?
Maybe. I mean, there's still some things I got to work through yet, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for now.
Innocent until proven guilty, is that it?
Something like that.
So are you going to tell me what cataclysmic event could have happened to have opened your mind up to feeling that you're wrong? I mean, you've always considered my family to be one step up from the Manson family. I never understood why.
It's about my family. Something that happened when I was a kid.
I know you lost your father when you were very young.
Yeah, one day he went away to work at Crane Industries and never showed up there. Never came home either.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it almost killed Mama.
I know your mother loved your father very much.
Yes, she did.
And what about you and your brothers and sisters? I mean, you must have all been terrified.
Yeah, we felt a lot of things. Scared, sad. Mostly I was mad. I always blamed your family for my father leaving us.
Why? Because he worked for us?
No, because the night before my father disappeared, we got a call from Alistair Crane.
Alistair?
Yeah. I couldn't get what they were fighting about, but my father was very upset when they hung up.
Did our father speak on the phone often?
As far as I know, that was the one and only time that Alistair called our house. I was only a kid. But in my mind, I mean, that phone call was just tied to my father's disappearance.
I see.
That's why I never had any use for your family. I always thought that you were responsible for my father's leaving us. Until today.
What happened today?
Your brother Julian told me my old man was a thief. Now, your father called him that night to confront him about embezzling money from Crane Industries.
I never heard any of this.
He was supposed to have a meeting with your father about it, to decide what they were going to do about it. But he never showed up.
My God.
Yeah, that was the day that he walked out on his wife, his family, his whole damn life.
And you got all of this from Julian?
Yeah. I learned it today, blow by blow.
I can't believe it.
Your father didn't press charges against my old man. And at Christmas, he gave her bigger bonuses to help her out with all the mouths that she had to feed.
And Julian told you this?
I asked my mother and she confirmed it. And when my papa left, the Christmas bonuses started getting bigger and the bank eased off the mortgage payments. And your brother's story adds up.
If your father is alive, then where has he been all these years?
That's the hell of it. I reopened his missing persons case. Now, someone's using his social security number, living and working in a small town outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico. Has been for all these years.
Oh, Louise.
You know, and here I've been, pointing the finger at your family for wrecking mine. I was just pointing the finger the wrong way. Seemed like it was my own father's doing. You know, I always looked up to my father when I was a kid. I thought he was the greatest man in the world. Then he left. Was he dead? Did he abandon us? All I knew is that last time I saw him, he went to work at Crane Industries. I don't know what the Cranes did to him, but I was damn sure that they did something. And I spent my whole life just thinking about that one thing. You must think it's pretty foolish, spending your whole life thinking about something that happened when you were a kid, right?
It doesn't sound foolish at all. I just found out something that I believed as a little girl wasn't true, and I'm still having a hard time accepting it.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not using my childhood as an excuse. If I've been wrong about your family, then I'll admit it. I'll face it head on.
But you're still not sure, are you?
How can I be? That means my father was never the man I thought he was. The man that I wanted to be just like. But if your brother's for real, I owe you a big apology. I headed in for the Cranes because I was sure for years that they took my father away from me.
At least now I know why you've hated me since the first time we met.
But that wasn't right. It's not fair to judge someone on the basis of their last name, whether it's Crane or Lopez Fitzgerald. Prejudice is prejudice.
Don't be so hard on yourself, Luis. I did crash into 2 of your police cars, and not to mention smacking you in the head with the bottle. And then there was the incident at Halloween with the cream pie.
You know what? Right now is probably not the best time to remind me of those things.
You're probably right.
Look, I just wanted to tell you I'm sorry, so I won't keep you any longer.
Okay, then.
Bye.
Something about my brother's story just doesn't make sense. I've got to find out what it is. There you are, Julian.
Next time, knock.
I want to know exactly what you told Luis Lopez Fitzgerald about his father.
I thought I made it clear to you that what Luis and I discussed was a private matter, i.e. none of your business.
Well, from what I understand, Martin Fitzgerald was caught embezzling money from the Crane Industries. And after Father found out, Martin left town and then was never heard from again.
I would like to know why this is the first time I've heard this story.
You're not the only one, Ivy. Apparently nobody saw fit to tell Pilar either.
It was to spare her any more humiliation than she was already suffering. And it's the same reason the theft was never reported to the police.
From what I hear, after Father forgave Martin for stealing from him, he helped Pilar out financially.
That was not...
You heard right. That's the truth.
So you're telling me that Father covered up a crime against Crane Industries and helped Pilar all out of the goodness of his heart?
Well, that's correct.
Liar. You're lying, Julian, and I want to know why.
Oh, please, Sheridan. I would think you had enough to deal with today without bothering yourself with someone else's ancient history. There's all this hysteria just fallout from your old bugaboos about caskets and corpses.
This has nothing to do with my old nightmare.
You could have fooled me. What do you think, Ivy? Don't you think that Sheridan should be making better use of her time, say, by resting or perhaps seeking the counsel of a good psychiatrist?
You're not going to weasel your way out of this one, Julian. We all know very well that Father has never forgiven anyone for anything, ever.
Well, perhaps neither of you know Alistair as well as you think. Father himself told me he didn't think it was fair to punish Pilar for the sins of her husband. He didn't want her life made any harder than Martin had already made it by deserting her and those children.
I love Pilar deeply. She has done so much for me and for this whole family. But Father wouldn't give a damn if she saved all of our lives single-handedly. He would never have forgiven her husband for stealing from him, and he would never help her out.
Think what you want, Sheridan.
What I think is you've made up a very elaborate story, and you wouldn't have done so unless you were trying to cover up something. And I want to know what it is, Julian. You know, I almost bought your story until you got to the part about Father's compassion and forgiveness. You gave yourself away.
You don't know what you're talking about, Sheridan.
Oh, I think I do. You're covering something up, Julian. What really happened to Pilar's husband?
I would like to know too, Julian. Considering this is the first I've ever heard of it. And Sheridan's right. Your father has never forgiven anyone for anything. It's simply not in the Crane nature.
That's enough. Alistair does not want this discussed anymore.
Well, that's just...
Leave it alone! Drop it. I'm warning the both of you.
Julian, I am not...
I mean it.